Hey guys, I ran across your home buyer seminar and I thought it was amazing, but it was a lot of people and I didn't want to ask questions. I was very nervous. So I've never bought a home before. What's my first step?
Would you like to answer
Yeah,
that?
sure. Okay, so that's a great question. And I think for anybody looking to purchase a home, it's going to be different for everyone, right? We all have our wants, we all have our needs, and what we dream of as homeowners. And I think the very first step, it really is just to have a conversation with somebody like myself, right? A loan officer. What we can do for you is, or what I try to do is really understand, what your goals are. What is your dream? What's your short-term goal? What's your long-term goal? You may tell me, hey, I'm looking to buy this home and I want to upgrade in the next few years. That may be a different type of home loan that you would get as opposed to somebody who knows this is their last home, or vice versa. You may say, hey, Chris, this is it. This is my dream home. I'm done. So if that's the case, then we want to maybe pay extra attention to how low can we get that rate at this time, because we know that this is your last home. So really it all starts with just having a conversation with somebody like myself who's going to take the time to ask you, what your goals are, what your short-term goals, what your long-term goals, and then we figure out a best strategy and the best type of loan that's going to suit your needs personally.
Okay. So, like I said, there was a lot of people in the room and I kind of forgot. Can you please introduce yourselves?
I am Pamela Sims. I am a real estate agent with Keller Williams Signature.
I'm Chris Cavazos. I'm a mortgage broker, owner, and then I'm also a loan originator. And I'm usually the one handling all the loan origination for all my files, all my clients.
So what I don't understand is if you say the first step is to get a loan officer, but all I see is real estate agents, how do you come in the picture?
Well, typically when I have clients that'll come to me directly first, I pride myself in networking and connecting with other loan officers, inspectors that I trust with my clients. In other words, they have the same heart that I have towards my client when it comes to my clients, because I'm very protective. I love and believe in walking through the process with my clients. So I need to connect with other professionals who have that same rhythm, who move at that same rhythm, and Chris being definitely one of those people. So, of course, like Chris just said, when you come to me as an agent, we want to sit down and we want to talk about your needs versus your wants as well. Because clearly you're not going to get everything you want in a house, but what is it that you absolutely have to have? And so that's where I come in and guide you through the process. And so with that connection as well, of course, I'm going to refer you to someone like Chris, so that you can get pre-approved first, because we can go and search all day, but if you're not pre-approved, we don't know what we're searching for.
That doesn't make sense. Okay, so I mean, this is the time of year. My income tax check is coming in.
Gotcha.
So I got my income tax check. I want to get out of my parents' house. I've never been in a house before. I don't even know what my credit scores are. Can I get a house?
That's where you talk to a loan officer.
So then, Chris, can you give me down payment assistance? I've heard that I can get in a house for zero down.
Yeah, I mean that's a possibility, and you don't necessarily have to be a first-time home buyer to qualify for a down payment assistance program, but there are programs available that will suit your needs like that, right? And we can look at those options and see what is the best option for you. One of the most important things is, how much do you want your payment to be, right? You're coming out of your parents' house. Do you want a $1,500 a month payment? Do you want a $3,000 a month payment? Or what is your affordability? So, that's kind of the first step, is having that conversation to qualify, to get your credit. I mean, those are things that we go through. When you are ready to actually take that plunge and you're ready to take a step forward, you'll fill out a loan application. You'll gather some of your qualifying documents like W-2s, pay stubs, tax returns, bank statements, all that fun stuff that we get to go through. We put together what's called your debt ratios. We put together what's called your reserve requirements, and we start calculating, okay, this is what your payment's going to be. And then we're going to run your credit, and then we're going to run you through something what's called Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac. Those are underwriting engines that are used on all home loans to get you the lowest interest rate and the best qualifying program for you. And then before you even attempt to go out and buy a house, once you're pre-approved, we're going to get you what's called a loan estimate, and it's going to give you an itemization of all the closing costs involved. It's going to show you what your monthly payment's going to be. It's going to show you how much money you're going to need for closing, and we're going to go through it together, line item by line item, so that you fully understand everything that you're getting into before you even go out to and look for a home. So that's kind of the first step, and that's part of that pre-approval process. So that's like Pam was saying, you're gonna have a conversation with her. She's gonna find out what you're looking for in a home, and I'm gonna take care of the financing aspect of it and make sure that it's gonna suit your needs and it's not gonna overwhelm you in payment, or it's not gonna be under than what you're looking for.
One of the things I'd like to piggyback on what Chris said, when you begin the home buying process, again, like I said, I connect myself with people that I trust with my clients, but it's important for you to look at your journey from the aspect of building a team. I'm Michael Jordan, you're Scottie Pippins. We're gonna set you up to win. So one of the key things that is vital in this process is being able to work with people that you trust, because this is your team. When you hire an agent like myself, this is your team. When you take on a lender like Chris, this is your team. Transparency is very, very important, because if we don't know what we should know, then we can't effectively help you.
So how much money do I need, and what do I need to gather? Like I said, I live with my parents. I don't have any kind of rental history or anything. What do I need for real to get into a house? I mean, do I have to have $40,000?
No, I mean that's a good question. So once again, it kind of depends on your circumstances and your qualifications, right? But let's say, for example, you do a down payment assistance program. The very minimal that you can get away with is having money for at least putting down earnest money, which is the money that you will give to a title company to give to a seller to secure.
Okay, wait.
Yeah, go ahead.
So how much is that?
Okay, so it's typically 1% of the sales price, right? So if you have a $250,000 house, usually putting down about $2,500 to secure that house and for that seller to take it off the market and you be the exclusive buyer of that home. Okay. And then 9 times out of 10, Pam's gonna probably suggest you get an inspection done, and you're gonna have what's called an option window, option period, where you pay usually about $150 to $350 depending on that particular seller and what you guys are negotiating, and that's another fee on top of it that you're gonna have up front. You're also gonna want to have money for inspections, right? It's really important that you have inspections done anytime you buy a house. Somebody go in there and check the the foundation, the roof, all the components of the home, and the life expectancy of all those components of a home, right? The good thing about a house is that it's just like a person, they all have a life expectancy, but the best thing about a house is that you can replace those things, right? You can't always do that on people, right? So that's what, those are things, those are the minimum things that you want to have. So I would say, let's say it's $250,000 house, you probably want to have at least $3,000 to $3,500 up front. Okay, now there are closing costs involved, and there's other things, what's called escrow, and that stuff is something that we'd want to get into when we start the pre-approval process, and I give you that loan estimate, and then it'll make a lot more sense, because I know you've never bought a house, it's your first time. Right now, you're probably hearing escrow and you're hearing prepays, and it sounds like blah, 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 like Charlie Brown, the old cartoon, right? So, all right, and so we want to go over all those numbers together and make sure that you fully understand. That's part of that pre-approval process. The good thing is that to get pre-approved, there's no cost. There's no barrier. It's free. To pull your credit is free.
Okay, so you can talk to me for free on getting me ready to buy a house in the future.
Absolutely.
And then what about you? Do you, as a real estate agent, do you charge fees? How do you get paid?
Well, typically what you will hear in today's market is that the seller pays for the buyer's commission. But here's the reality. You ever go to a store and if you buy this shirt, you get this shirt for free? Well, it's kind of the same thing. It's a tactic that sellers use to draw buyers to their homes, and buyers agents to bring their, so that's the incentive. The seller will pay my commission, but in the event we run across a home that the seller does not pay the buyer's commission, I'll let you know. But you will be liable for my commission.
And that's another upfront fee?
It's not upfront, it can come out of closing costs.
Okay. So what's my next steps now? I'm going to see the loan officer, get the pre-approval, then we go look for houses. Once we have the house, what's next?
Well, the next thing we do is, like he said, we'll submit an offer, draw up a contract, submit an offer. You'll pay that earnest money and your option, and then we begin the process. You'll go through getting an inspection, potentially an appraisal, survey if it's required, and we just go from there.
Okay, and then next? Then I can close?
We start working towards closing if everything works out the way we want it to.
So if I like the house, then what? Do we let the loan officer know?
Yes, we let the loan officer know.
Then what happens next?
Yeah, so that's a good question. Once you get executed contract, that's where it kind of starts with me. And after you've been pre-approved, we've gone over those numbers. You go out with Pam, you start to look for houses. You find a house that you like. She makes an offer. You guys get an accepted. You get an executed contract, and then you get it over to me, or Pam will get it over to me, and then we start the loan process. And that's where your loan's going to be submitted to underwriting. There may be some documentation that needs to be updated, like pay stubs or maybe a bank statement. The most recent ones when you start gathering. We're going to help you shop for homeowners insurance. If you don't already have a homeowners insurance agent that you know of or that you like, we can help you shop or at least give you some comparable offers. And that's why this process can take 2 to 4 weeks. It's going to be my processor, Misty, who's going to be, the person, your main point of contact, but she's going to order title work, things that kind of go on behind the scenes that you don't have to worry about. We do all that for you. She's going to order title. She's going to order survey if necessary. She's going to help you gather insurance. She's going to gather all documentation needed to get it through underwriting and get it clear to close to where the bank says, okay, you're clear to close. We're going to drop your closing documents and we're going to get you to the closing table. So it's about a 2 to 4 week period that all that happens. Lately, what's good is that in this market, because there is somewhat of a slowdown because rates are higher, they just are what they are. The benefit of it is that things are moving a lot quicker than when things were really, really busy. 2-3 years ago, there were times we were waiting 3 weeks, 4 weeks just to get an appraisal back. Now it's like a 7-10 day turnaround. So,
Wait. You said appraisal.
Uh-huh.
That's another fee? What is that?
Yeah, that's a
You
good
didn't
question.
Tell me what that was.
So on a home loan, it's always going to be required that you have a third-party appraiser go out there and appraise the value of the home, right? Because the mortgage company who's giving you the money to buy the house, they have an interest in the value of the home, but it also protects you to make sure that the house is marketed correctly and that you are getting the value that you want. And sometimes you may even find out that the house is overvalued. Maybe you're buying this house for $250,000, but the appraisal comes back at $265,000. Right, that means you're walking into $15,000 equity, and that happens quite often. So it's a good thing to kind of know that value. Now, the good thing is that value is different than like the county value, right? The county value is normally going to be lower, which is what your property taxes are based on, and that's a good thing. You always want to keep that as low as possible to pay the government less money than what you have to. But for your purposes, a house is somewhat like an investment, right? It's kind of like a 401k. The more and more you pay into it, the more equity that you're going to grow, and at some point, if you decide to sell it, or if you want to upgrade, you'll have those options and you'll be able to cash out on the difference of the value.
Wow. So we got the appraised value, everything is going on, and then now I'm getting to the closing table. Is there anything else I should need before closing? Or what should I do towards my house?
Bottle of champagne? I don't know. I mean,
Well, what we'll typically do is we'll do what we call a final walkthrough. We'll go through the house and make sure that everything is pretty much up to par. There's no damages, anything that maybe the seller needs to repair prior to your closing date, or if you're doing new construction, anything that the new construction contractor needs to fix or whatnot before your closing date.
Okay. And so I get to the closing, where am I going? Am I coming back to you guys' office?
Typically, it's closing is held at the title company.
Will you be there?
Of course, I'm always
Will you
there.
be there?
absolutely.
I'm there for the journey.
Well, this is very awesome, enlightening, and I'm going to be sure to share with my friends and family because it's just so much stuff going on and everybody's talking to me in my ear. I'd rather deal with professionals like yourselves.
Very smart.
So tell me again, how can other people get in contact with you?
Oh, well, you can always reach out to me at 346-254-8310, or you can email me at PamelaMSims@kw.com.
Yeah, you can always reach me at 281-763-1876. That's my cell phone number, comes directly to me. Or you can go to my website, hometrustfinancing.com. On there, if you want, there's a link to have a meeting with me. So if you want to schedule a meeting time, it'll schedule on my Calendly, and we can set up a 30-minute meeting to where we can kind of discuss where you're at in the process and how you'd like to proceed, and just answer any questions that you have about purchasing a home.
All right. Thanks, guys. Thank you for answering my silly questions, but they were very helpful. Thank you.
You're welcome.